I'm still trying to figure out exactly what this channel is about, but here's where I'm at right now. I want to focus on the things that I'm working through, the things that I'm dealing with, and just be as open and honest about those things as I know how to be, in the hopes that if you are working through something similar, that it will be helpful to you to see how I'm navigating it. And at the very least, just to know that you're not alone. And so a lot of what I want to talk about on Learning Every Moment is some of the bigger picture things, yes, like the mess of our geopolitical systems and our economic systems. And while I don't exactly know how to fix those things, I'm beginning to get a pretty good sense of where a lot of the predicaments are, like the perverse incentives and the inadvertent bottlenecks that create many of the, call it, races to the bottom and multipolar traps that exist in our current world. And again, to pretend that I know how to address those predicaments would be ridiculous. I don't. But I do want to talk some about that as we start thinking about the things that all of us can kind of see and putting some language to that so that we can do some collective sense making on how we want to go about addressing those things. But then, in conjunction with the more macro scale, big picture stuff, I also want to think about the micro scale of like our day-to-day existence and navigating dating and relationships, navigating our personal growth, navigating our health and our lives, and figuring out how to be the version of ourselves that we want to be on a day-to-day basis. And I think it would be silly for me to tell you how to live your life when I'm still just trying to figure out my own every day. But I feel like in the process of figuring out my own every day, that process itself will help you to feel less alone in this world where, honestly, a lot of us are very isolated. And I've spent more time alone than I feel like anybody ever should. And human beings are just not built for that. And a lot of the meaningful connections that used to just be embedded into our day-to-day lives have gone away and have been replaced by very shallow parasocial relationships. And that's not to say that that's everything, but I know that I feel that, and I know that I'm not alone in feeling that. And so that's a huge aspect of what I want to cultivate with this channel as well, is a community of people who are thoughtful and self-reflective and want to make the world around them a better place while becoming a better version of themselves in the process. And that's what this is about. How to go about doing that, I'm still figuring that out every day, and I'll continue to get better at it as I work on it. And on one hand, there's a part of me that kind of dislikes this format, where the voice in my head is like, well, are you just being lazy and you don't want to do a whole lot of preparation and you don't want to do a whole lot of editing? And maybe. I think that there are at least some layers of truth to those things, because I've made much more produced and published videos before, and I know the time investment that takes. And I think in a lot of contexts, it's a worthwhile time investment, because to do meaningful work, you have to put in the work. But the function of this is a little bit different. So for one, I think more than anything, just getting started with it this week has been the most critical thing for me, because I've been kicking that can down the road for so damn long. And once I posted that first video, it gave me the license to just continue to work on this and to continue to learn and grow and be okay with the fact that I'm not very good at this yet, but that through the process of doing it, I can get better and I will continue to get better. So that's one side of it. But I also feel like there's this real opportunity for authenticity where rather than trying to play into the YouTube algorithm, I'm kind of doing the opposite of that and just being okay with it. Like, I know for a fact that these videos are not going to get hundreds of millions of views. That's not the point. The point is to start bringing people together who I really want to build something with. And I think the best way to start that process is just to be me. And to give you the most authentic version of me that I can. And talk about the things that I'm working on in the hopes that we can connect and I can learn from the ways that you're working on those same predicaments that we face. And I think the more that we can learn from each other, the better off that we're going to be. And the more that we can create meaningful communities and feel connected around a common goal, I'm not going to say that any of this is going to be easy, because it won't be. But I think the less alone we feel, the less impossible a lot of what we're facing becomes. So that's my basic philosophy of where I'm at right now and why I'm approaching this in the way that I am. And my process will continue to evolve. I find it highly likely that at some point in the future, these videos will be at least a little bit more polished than they are right now. But I think that as a starting point, both for the point of actually getting started and for just giving you me as best I can, that this is right where I need to be right now. So I love you tons, and I'm going to keep doing the work to the best of my ability, and I look forward to doing it with you.